After clearing the first mission, you can see that Falsebound Kingdom is a pretty forgiving game. Your monsters just return to full HP at the end of each mission. Heck, you can even bring them back to life during the missions with stuff like Monster Reborn. It's not Fire Emblem where you lose a monster permanently. But why don't we make it like that? Going off the idea of the Pokémon Nuzlocke, where anything that goes down stays down, we're creating a Nuzlocke of our own, with one basic rule. Any monster that loses all of its HP is gone for the rest of the game. You can lose it by battle, you can lose it by an enemy trap, doesn't matter. If it's gone, it stays gone. Now, disappointingly, unlike Pokemon, you cannot release a monster, so it is something you have to manually keep track of. An additional rule I want to work with. If a Marshal's team is completely eliminated, then they cannot be used in battles for the rest of the game. Now, you might notice, a Marshal that's in red cannot be removed from your lineup. They are required to be in the mission for text purposes. If this were to happen, like let's say Shoddy's team goes down, well, you simply put one monster... I said Shoddy. Shoddy's actually not playable in this game. That's not a spoiler, don't worry. If Shimon's team goes down, then what you simply do is stick one eliminated monster in the front of the party and just kind of banish Shimon to where they are not usable anymore. Set them in a corner, basically. You cannot use Monster Reborn, you cannot revive a removed monster by paying a healer at a base, and you cannot use any other resurrection ability in the game. The game's actually quite generous with how quickly you can bring a monster back to life, but we're not going to do that. Instead of keeping the experience from a failed mission, you have to reload your save file without keeping any of the collected level ups or items. If you want to, in a normal playthrough, you can go into a mission, fight some enemies, gain some items, and if you want, you can just let the enemies take your main base or let your main character go down, and you would still keep the experience during the next attempt. We're not going to do that. We're playing under the pure, you lose, you reload the save. However, I had to get that out of the way. If you lost any monsters during the failed mission, or you failed to gain a recruitable monster, they are still gone. Okay? There's a lot of monsters just hidden in random spots, so if you miss it, you're out. I won't count monsters that are only accessible by beating the mission. I'm just talking the ones that you can find randomly in the game world. Another restriction I want to work with is the items. I'm only going to allow a maximum of one blue medicine and one red medicine per team. One set, I should say, not just a single use of these items. That would be a little ridiculous. On top of that, any items a monster was holding when that monster was eliminated, those items are gone too. Now, this might sound kind of penalizing, but it's pretty easy to get items, and the blue medicine and red medicine are going to be completely outclassed soon as well. There is something else I should mention. In this game, there does exist a cheat code you can press to gradually gain more money. You are not using that cheat code in this challenge. You work with the money you're given. That's it. Take it or leave it. Now, in this game there exists ritual magic that would transform one monster into another. An example is you can transform Crawling Dragon into Dragon Zombie. If Crawling Dragon goes down, you cannot use the ritual to turn it into Dragon Zombie, because you have to have Part A to make Part B. And if you lose Part A, Part B's not happening. Now, there are two optional rules I also want to discuss. The first one is whether or not you do Kaiba's campaign first. Kaiba's campaign from a clean save file is harder than Yugi's due to a number of missions just being stacked in a pretty awkward way. Obviously, I'm not doing that right now since we already started Yugi's campaign, but this is a challenge I'll get to at some point. And there is also New Game Plus. In New Game Plus, basically you have to go through every campaign more than once in order to get every monster in the game, because some monsters will only join you if you have a monster from another campaign. And then, like I said before about the ritual magic, so if you turn Crawling Dragon into Dragon Zombie, well, now you actually have to replay the campaign to get Crawling Dragon back in its normal form. I am not concerned with New Game Plus details right now. That's something we can figure out when we get there, but for right now, I'm only focused in the context of clearing the main campaign modes. So, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clear the main campaign modes with retro Fire Emblem style eliminations. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yugioh the Falsebound Kingdom, Necrovalley.